behind me.
Well, yeah, I see that Neo Geo MVSX sitting behind you. That's pretty impressive. We're going to talk about that. We got a whole bunch of stuff to talk about, guys. Thanks as always for tuning in to the Super GameRoom Dudes. We're going to be coming right back as we finish our final preparations for a jam-packed episode. And we have so much information, we don't know what to do with it, but Johnny Lawrence knows what to do with it.
And then send it to the internet!
We'll be right back.
What time is it? Game time! Boom!
What up, YouTube? It's your boys, Detroit Love, P-Dubs, Michael B. the Game, Genie, and Nostalgia with another episode of the Super Game Room Dudes. Let's get it started.
The energy on that, man. Good
man.
for you.
Detroit Love has been killing it lately. It's like he's like a little kid again with his awesome intros. You know what? You did so good. You get a Macho Man for that, Carl.
Oh, yeah!
Oh, yeah, guys. Hey, guys, welcome as always to the Friday Funhouse and another episode of the Super Game Room Dudes, your arcade and gaming podcast show. As always, I'm your host, Patrick, a.k.a. P-Dubs. With me, as always, are my Canadian brothers to the north, Michael B. the Game Genie and Nostalgia. Michael, how are you today?
I'm awesome, man. How's everybody else?
Doing good. Love that Macho Man t-shirt you got going on. And Nostalgia, how are you?
I'm doing okay. I'm keeping busy.
I notice you have a Neo Geo MVSX cabinet sitting behind you. We'll talk about that in just a few. And of course, we have Detroit Love. How you doing, Carl?
What up, everybody?
Guys, we have so much stuff to talk about. I don't know how we're going to do it, so let's just kind of jump right into it. So we got a lot of topics we want to cover. We'll try our best to go maybe so much going on in the world of modern as well as retro gaming news. We want to try and get and touch as many of these as we possibly can. So for starters, let's talk real quick about the Toy Shock Pinball product line. We do have an update. Came out just a few hours ago from Linda Falke, wife of CEO Jeff Falke. She did put a post on the official Toy Shock Digital Pinball fan page, guys. And if you have not joined this particular fan page, you might want to join it on Facebook. She let people know that, hey, they did receive the version 1.2 PCBs. Now remember, these PCBs partially fixed the gameplay speed as well as the, it fixed the gameplay speed and it fixed the high score saving issue, but it did not completely eliminate the flipper delay. But they do some of those boards, and she let people know that, hey, if you want this board, let us know. We have a small shipment and we'll send it to you. But the version 1.3 PCBs, these are the ones that are going to have that flipper delay down to about a 2-frame delay, which is really good for virtual pinball. running at 60 frames per second, along with the high score saving issue being addressed, that those they don't have the ship dates for those yet. They also don't know how many of those boards they're going to get on hand before the end of the year. So it's really cool to see that the folks over at Toy Shock are doing their best to communicate and keep the community updated with the status of these boards. I know a lot of folks out there, you have your Toy Shock pinball machines. I have the version 1.2 board. What was really cool is she put this post up. She's gotten a lot of comments, and a lot of community members are like, you know what? I'll just take the 1.2. I don't need the 1.3. And guys, in all honesty, I have the 1.2, as you all know, installed in my Toy Shock, and it's pretty good. It's not perfect, but it's definitely a much, much better experience than what you experienced previously. So if you go for the 1.2 board, I think you're going to be happy. But are you going to be super, super satisfied? You might want the 1.3 board if you want to have as minimal of a flipper delay as possible. So what do you guys think? Let's go around the horn. Carl, work our way clockwise. Carl, what do you think about Toy Shock stepping up to the plate, about their updates to their PCB boards, as well as they're still going to be the most cost-effective pinball machine on the market this holiday season? Go ahead, my friend.
Yeah, it's good to see them making that effort. Again, they didn't have to do that, but they want to do that, and they made that option available for people. It's good that they saw that that wasn't quite right and made the adjustments to that to make the 1.3. So I think it's a good thing that they're doing, and they're reaching out and talking to people and letting them know what the status is. So way to go. It's a good cabinet as is. I didn't have a lot of the issues that people reported, so I'm sure there's other people out there as well that don't have any problem. But if you do have that issue, you got some options.
What about you, Nostalgia?
I like to give credit where credit is due. So when a company comes out and they acknowledge a mistake they've made and then they work hard to fix it, I mean, there's nothing negative you can really say about that. Obviously, some people are going to give them a hard time that it's taken a little while to see these boards come out. But, I mean, we're kind of living in some pretty unique times. So I don't fault them at all. Kudos to them for doing what they're doing. And I'm sure, you know, at the end of the day, when these boards get out to the right people, they'll have some satisfied customers.
And what about you, Mr. Game Genie?
Well, I echo the sentiments of everybody else here. I think it's fantastic that they did that. The only thing is, I feel a little bit bad for them because everybody's so fervently waiting to get their hands on pinball from all these other companies right now. If they could have got stuck to the original timeline and got them in stores, they would have sold a boatload of these. People are so desperate to get their hands on pinball. If they could have got out there, they would have sold a ton of them. But at the same time, it wouldn't have been very good because people obviously are waiting to get that better experience. So good on them for taking the time and making sure everything's right before it comes out. I hope people still go crazy and buy these pinball tables because it's a good product, it's at a good price, and I think people will enjoy it.
Yeah, folks, let's ask you this honestly. I want your honest feedback in the live chat, guys. If Toy Shock had managed to get the 1.2 or the 1.3 board installed already, let's just say last month, as well as got their $400 pinball machines available online, because as of right now, they're still sold out on Walmart and stuff. Would you guys have placed your orders? Or would you have not? I definitely would love to see your honest feedback. And of course, there's about a 90-second delay, so while we're waiting for that to come in, we can kind of start talking about a couple other items. I really, really hope Toy Shock does get their tabletop pinball machine released. So you guys remember we had Jeff Falke on our show. We had a great interview with him, and he talked about the mini Toy Shock pinballs. And I was really hoping we were going to see those, and we haven't seen those yet. We don't have an update on those. I'm starting to think it might not be a product that comes out until 2021. Are you guys still interested, Carl, Nostalgia, Michael B, in a tabletop Toy Shock pinball?
Yeah. I mean, I am. I'm certainly looking forward to it. We don't have any VPN options here in Canada, really, except for make your own. So whatever they're able to get across the border, I'm willing to take a look at. So yeah, I'm looking forward to any and all of them.
Okay. What about you guys?
Oh, Michael B's responding. So the text. I mean, again, you see, I got these smaller tabletops now. I've never really been a fan of tabletops, but I like pinball. If I had a choice between pulling out a countercade and finding a spot and doing it on my Switch or on my phone or iPad, I definitely prefer to have a cabinet of some sort. So I'm interested. I saw someone else do a cabinet one the other day, and they don't have the back glass. And to me, the back glass is important. So without the back glass, any pinball to me is just a little bummer. But I love me some pinball.
Yep, Toy Shock, if you're watching the show, just a heads up here, I'm seeing a lot of folks in our live chat saying that they would be interested in their tabletop mini pinball machine. I know I am as well. Hopefully you guys can get those out sooner than later. Michael B., final thoughts on Toy Shock?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I was commenting. Carl, thanks for jumping in there. But I'm really excited for this to come out because my dad is a big pinball nut. And obviously, we have a cabin we go up to, and I kind of promised him that we'd be getting this around September because that's what the date that Jeff gave us originally. And I told him as soon as I get it, I was going to bring it up to the cabin so we could play pinball together. So we didn't get to do that. Hopefully it's out very soon, and I'm definitely going to be buying one. And the idea of being able to transport something like that, bring it up to my cabin and enjoy that with my dad, I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah. Okay, guys, let's move on to our next topic. And I want to talk a little bit about the Neo Geo MVSX cabinet. We've seen a lot of reviews for this product over the last month from many, many YouTube channels. They've had many units traveling from house to house, reviewer to reviewer. And not only that, now that we're near the tail end and we're getting closer to launch, they've actually given some content creators permission to actually now start doing teardowns, showing off the internal hardware, as well as modding potential. Now, the reason why I want to bring this up, guys, is, and this is just my personal opinion, so don't freak out. I don't speak for the entire panel. Is after everything that I've seen, all the reviews I've watched, all the information that has come out, it's become apparent to me that the Neo Geo MVSX is nearly a twin, nearly a clone, so similar to an Arcade1Up device. We're talking similar joysticks, similar buttons, similar PCB boards, similar monitors, similar technology on how it all wires up together. And honestly, when we look at modding potential, there's obviously modding potential because it's built the same way as an Arcade1Up. It's nearly a clone of one with 50 games on it. So yeah, you're gonna be able to hook up an LVDS controller board, HDMI controller board, and then plug a Pi or something like that. So you're gonna mod this thing the same way we've been modding Arcade1Ups the last 2 years. And in my opinion, guys, honestly, I don't find that exciting. I really don't. Because we've already been doing this for 2 years, guys. We've already been putting Raspberry Pis in Arcade1Ups. We've already been putting Pandora's boxes in Arcade1Ups. And if that's the goal, if that's what you want to do, why not just do it in an Arcade1Up? Why would you want to spend nearly $600 on this product, get it brand new, just to put a Raspberry Pi in it? Let's go around the horn. Detroit Love, what do you think about all this new modding talk starting now about the Neo Geo MVSX cabinet? Guys, do you think you're wasting your money when you can just get a $150 Arcade1Up off Facebook Marketplace and do the exact same mod far cheaper? What do you think, buddy?
Well, I like all modding options, but obviously people look at the cost. If you're going to gut it out, they have to consider the price of it to start with. I hadn't seen the thing. The color scheme, red is my favorite color, yet that doesn't appeal to me, from just looking at it. Again, sometimes things look different when you have it in your hands, but it's like that. If you like that cabinet and that's the body that you want to work with, I say all the time, the cabinet is important when you're talking about modding, and if it has what you want, the look and style that you want, it becomes an option. But again, here in Michigan, we never come across any of those reduced prices, so we pay full price for any of the Arcade1Ups. Even on the marketplace, I see people get OfferUp and let it go and all those places, and people want top money no matter what, whether it's out the store or off the used market. We never get the breaks up here, so but it's still, you're coming in much cheaper than this in most cases for a cabinet.
Right. And before the other guys answer, I'm definitely going to give you guys a chance. I think Rex read my mind. Really, if you're going to buy this thing just to stick a Raspberry Pi in it, in all honesty, guys, you just paid, that Rex hit the nail on the head. This is exactly what I was trying to say. You just paid $500 for a Neo Geo themed piece of wood. You know what I'm saying? Like you're paying $500 for the artwork and all that stuff. Honestly, guys, modding this thing with a Raspberry Pi or a Pandora's box seems wasteful to me, considering that these things are $500-600. I would be more interested in seeing some of the software mods coming down the road with the high-low hacks or maybe firmware releases. I would not buy this thing just to gut it. Nostalgia, I want to hear your honest opinion. Go ahead, buddy.
So my thoughts, I just got this thing. It was delivered like 4 or 5 hours ago, and it was shipped over to me from another Canadian reviewer. So I'm actually the second person to get this specific unit. I did kind of open the box and take a peek. Unfortunately, there are some things that you're going to want to adjust right away out of the box, and I don't know that anybody who, unless I got some weird device that nobody else has seen, and the buttons and the components that they put in this one are different than what they had in some of the other reviewers' videos. I mean, the buttons are horrible. They're really, really not that great. So that's like definitely something that needs to be swapped out. I don't know that I would get into the modding scene in terms of ripping out the PCB, putting in a Raspberry Pi onto this specific device. Now, I'm actually going to do a full teardown on this thing. I'm going to rip it apart. I'm going to look at the CPU. I'm going to look at kind of the SoC that's on it. I'll find out what the GPU is. I'll find out what kind of RAM it has in it. What the internal memory is, and what its modding potential is. Because if it has the right chipset in there and it's capable, I would actually suggest people not rip out the board and put in a Raspberry Pi, but maybe wait for the modding community to be able to sideload things like RetroArch onto there. Because if you can do that with the accessible USB port on the back, you can actually use that USB as external storage, put your entire mod on that stick, dump it into the USB port, and then run everything off the drive there. So that might be the smarter way to go. Probably similar fashion to what we've seen on the classic console side of things, where you can load things right off of a USB drive. That's my initial gut reaction. That being said, I haven't ripped it apart yet. So,
well, Nostalgia, let's kind of talk about it this way. And Michael B, don't worry, I'm going to get to you. Is this thing with the base is $500, and how much is let's just say a Raspberry Pi 4 Kana kit? Usually about $100, right, Nostalgia, for the Kana kit, for the full kit, right?
Well, it depends on what device you're going with, the 2 gig, 4 gig, 8 gig.
Yeah,
I mean, it ranges, but yeah.
Yeah, like the 8 gigabyte Kana kit. It's like around $100. So now
somewhere around there, yeah.
So now you're at $600. You also got to buy encoder boards and buttons. And yeah, you could buy a cheap Chinese set on Amazon for $30-40. You know what I mean? So now you're at $600, $650. Guys, you're talking a $700 cabinet, which if that is your end game, in my opinion, just go get yourself like a 6-button Arcade1Up, either the Blue Marvel or the Street Fighter cabinet, and just stick a Raspberry Pi and a Pandora's box mod in there. You're probably going to get that mod done for $400. Save yourself, several $100s. In my opinion, guys, if you get the Neo Geo cabinet and you're going to mod it with a Pandora's box or a Raspberry Pi, I think you're wasting your money. You're throwing money out the window. I want to see the software mods. I want to see the ability to sideload games, things like that. Michael B, go ahead. What's your honest opinion?
There's only one clear reason to mod this cabinet, and that's to put Puzzle Bobble on it. As long as we're all clear about that.
You know what? As long as we get Puzzle Bobble, nobody cares, right? Nobody cares.
Modding stuff's not my jam. I like to keep everything stock. I'm excited to get to try this out. So I know
you're going to want to change the buttons.
I know, Nostalgia.
You're going to want to change those buttons.
Yeah, the average cost is about $250 $300 to gut it out and put all new things in it. But the Footy Labs here says, the 50 games is what he would buy. I mean, he said that's not a bad deal to just leave it alone. Again, if you can side load and add extra, but 50 games out the box is better than most options you have.
Well, 33% of those are fighting game. What is it? It's one specific fighting game, King of Fighters. So
King of Fighters, right? King of Fighters.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the reality with this machine is that it is a decent standalone machine. This is not one that I would say you want to gut and throw a Raspberry Pi or a PC in there. It doesn't really make sense for this device, just because it is very closely replicating the Arcade1Up model, and you can in many places, Walmarts in the US across the entire country, or I guess not everywhere, but most places, they've got these things on clearance. So even if you can pick one up, maybe not for $50, but if you can get one for $150 or $200, you're better off gutting that. And if you really, really want your machine to look like a Neo Geo cab, just buy a red Sharpie and just color all over the thing. But yeah, no, this is a device, I think, for the most part, internal stays stock. If you want to change something up, change buttons and joystick to your preference. But the rest, in my opinion, this is a machine that stays stock.
Yeah, putting up Pandora's box or a pie, zero interest for me. I think you're wasting your time. I would be promoting. What's really cool is we have a product here coming out from Neo Geo that they plan on supporting. It is firmware capable. We will see updates down the road. Who knows what could be potential down the road in the future from them. And not only that, they hired the guy who did the Holo hack to run their development. Is that right, Nostalgia?
He's certainly on board, yeah.
Yeah, and he's promising big things. And if you gut this thing, you're going to lose out on that, right? So, so guys, I want your honest opinions in the chat. This is a safe place. If you bought the Neo Geo today, or you already pre-ordered it, are you going to gut it? Or are you going to keep it stock? Maybe change buttons and sticks. But are you going to keep it mostly stock and see what comes down the road? Look for software hacks? Or are you just buying this thing just to gut it? Please put your honest feedback in the chat. I'd love to see it. And while we're waiting for that to come through, we'll start gearing up for our next topic. Any final thoughts on this, gentlemen, while we wait for their final replies to come in?
Yeah, I've never really been a Neo Geo guy, so that's something that I never really played hardly until I modded, my Arcade1Up and started playing some of those games. So that's things I think that came a little later. It's probably a nostalgia generation with Neo Geo, the baby boomers.
Yep. A lot of folks are saying they're just going to keep it stock. Love it, guys. Thanks for your honest opinions. All right, guys, let's move on to the next topic. We want to talk about the AtGames Legends Core. So, Michael B., you just did a video on this, and I was teasing you earlier. I don't know if we can talk about what I was teasing you about. That was so funny. But you know what I'm talking about? It was hard. It was hard. But Michael B., the Game G, what do you think of the Legend? Now, the Legends Core, the hockey puck, guys, is not meant to compete with a Raspberry Pi or Pandora's box or something like that, right? I mean, it's supposed to be a console you use a controller with, right? That is the purpose of the hockey puck, as well as an ability is if you do have the Legends Gamer fight sticks and stuff in your house, you could have a Roku system, have these things hooked up to multiple TVs, just travel your controller, no need to go behind the TV, unhook everything, which honestly is a pain in the ass for a lot of people to constantly be hooking and unhooking things up, dragging it from room to room. So Michael B., if we had to compare the Legends Core to a similar product on the market, I think the closest one would be the Arcade1Up HDMI consoles. What are the pros and cons? And I'll let you lead this discussion because I already made a video about this. Go ahead, buddy.
So I've been very vocal on the Arcade1Up HDMI consoles that you're really forced to use that controller that it comes with. I think Cool Toy said in his video you could also use an Xbox One controller, but there might be some issues with button mapping. The buttons don't map in the right places. So you're forced to use that controller, and it looks awful. P-Dubs, I watched your video this morning. I don't know if it was from.
Sorry.
You said that D-pad was terrible. And that was what I was concerned about all along. I keep making assumptions because we don't actually have access to it here in Canada, but it looks terrible. So the fact that the AtGames Legends Core allows you to use pretty much any PC controller with it gives you so many options. I can't reach my 8BitDo controller right there, but everybody knows how good those 8BitDo controllers are, and you'll be able to play games with an 8BitDo controller as opposed to one of those really terrible Arcade1Up controllers.
Yeah, real quick before you continue, Tommy, what we're saying is the core is just the puck. You bring your own controller. So you could bring a handheld controller, a PC controller, an Xbox One controller, or if you wanted, you could bring an arcade fight stick, such as the Gamer Pro, the Gamer Mini, or what's that new one, the Nintendo Switch one? The
8BitDo.
Yeah, the 8BitDo one. maybe a lot of the PC arcade fight sticks should be compatible with this device. So yes, you can play it with an arcade stick or with a handheld controller. It's bring your own controller if all you're buying is the hockey puck. Nostalgia, do you think they're cannibalizing the sales of the arcade machines by doing this? Instead of buying an arcade machine and giving AtGames $500, I can go buy this hockey puck for $50. Tell me why. Tell me what the purpose is.
I think the idea is that not everybody has space for a full-scale arcade. Not everyone is going to want, a two-player fight stick like the Gamer Pro. Not everyone wants a mini fight stick like the Gamer Mini. And this is going to be something that is more appealing to people looking for kind of like a streaming puck or a streaming device that they can just plug right into their TV. And they can connect whatever controller they want to it and just have fun with it. The big thing we need to keep in mind is that this is not, a one-trick pony. These devices have a whole ecosystem built around them. They're going to have the ability to stream games directly from a cloud server. They've got the ability to sideload games if that's what you want to do. They're going to have a whole robust set of new features coming out down the road. This is going to be really something that I think is more than just play arcade games or play games. So I think that's kind of the big difference.
Yeah, it's just another option for people. You got all these controllers sitting around. You want to plug into the AtGames system there and be able to get the weekly updates and be a part of that, but you don't need to spend the money for the whole kit. You already have half the kit, and so it's an option, a low cost option for people that want to plug into their ecosystem.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. And guys, encourage you to check out the atgames.net. You can pull up the Legends Core info and take a look at this console. Michael B, this thing is $49.99, but it doesn't come with a controller because you have to bring your own controller. The Arcade1Up HDMI console is $40. Which one do you think you're getting the best value for?
I still think it's the Legends Core. I have to be honest with you. There's more games, more options. The Arcade1Up one, you're basically just getting the 6 on Mega Man, and I think it's 10 on Pac-Man games that are there. They have the option to sideload games where you can put console games. You can't put arcade games on it unless somebody's figured out a way to do that. So it's all console games right now. And the UI looks pretty terrible on it, as opposed to with the Legends Core, you have the 100 included games, you have ArcadeNet, and then ArcadeNet's going to keep adding games. It's going to keep getting better as a program as it moves out of beta. So many options. And let's be honest, who doesn't have an Xbox One controller at home? Immediately, you have a controller you can play with this. So,
yeah, it also supports the USB hub, so you can plug in and bring your own games. So it's a decent little package for $50.
You guys think they should have thrown in some kind of cheap controller, or do you think it was better for them not?
No, because they already have those options. They have those options for people. No. This is geared to people that is adding to what they have for a low cost.
Yeah, we don't. I mean, AtGames hasn't always had a stellar history of having the highest quality products. So if what they're going to do is give you a good device and then they're just going to bundle it with some cheap controller, it makes the whole package feel cheaper. Whereas where they just provide you a premium device and they're not giving you something, subpar with it, you get a better experience. Out of the box, you get a very nice premium device. You can grab your own premium controller that you have at home, whether it's Xbox or 8-bit or whatever it is, connect it in and play. So I definitely think the way that this is being sold is the right way. They don't need to be adding junk to a good product.
Right, because it'll be similar to the Arcade1Up. People aren't going to like that controller. People are pretty strong-minded about the controllers that they feel comfortable with, that feels comfortable in their hand. They already have those controllers to do that. Now they're just adding a little console that's real affordable and it taps into the ecosystem. So it's a good option.
Yep. Tommy wrote in here that they need to put a list of controllers that support it. What's kind of interesting is, and what I really like about our community, is there are already guys, because the Legends Core and the Gamer Core, it's the same core, same hockey puck. It might just be a different amount of games built in, but it's the exact same device, right? So a lot of guys are already testing in the AtGames community a whole mess of controllers. They're putting together spreadsheets for the community, and that's what I love to see. That's what I love about this community, is the fact that sometimes this community isn't going to wait for companies to hand us information. We're going to grab that by the reins, and we're gonna ride the horse, and we're going to try and get those answers. Go ahead, Michael B.
Yeah, bit of a spoiler. I've got a Legends Gamer Pro coming next week. Should be here next Thursday. And I can't wait to get my hands on the core, hook it up upstairs, which my wife is going to be thrilled about, by the way, where that's hooked up in the family room. And I've got literally hundreds of controllers that I'm willing to try on it. I'm very excited.
Make sure you buy a longer HDMI cord.
Yeah, I mean, I have to be honest, and I don't want people thinking, "Oh, he's an AtGames fanboy," because I'll be honest. If I thought it was a bad deal, I would tell you guys that. But for $10 more than an Arcade1Up HDMI console, and considering the fact that most gamers have a controller in your house already that is compatible with this thing, probably, I think for $10 more, you're getting a whole bunch more, because you're going to get, obviously, 100 games versus 10. Out of the box, and not only that, you have access to the entire AtGames Legends ecosystem. So there you go, boom.
Well,
now
hold on, and one more thing that I don't think anyone's really mentioned is that the ArcadeNet system that they have, you can play with people online. Like, you can take these retro games, invite your friends into them, and then you can play them from 2 different locations, which is actually pretty cool. I mean, if you want to throw on some Metal Slug, and I can invite Michael B to my instance, and he can play with me with voice chat. Like, that's pretty awesome.
Yep. Hey guys, if you're a member of my channel, would love to see some P-Dub sheet emojis in the live chat. Thanks so much. You guys know we love our spreadsheets, although this is not one I created. So there you go. All right, guys. So AtGames Legends Core, honestly, probably a must-buy. A must-buy for a lot of folks. I highly recommend it. And then, of course, the Gamer Minis are coming out. I have my Gamer Mini. AtGames was kind enough to send me a demo unit, and I'll be filming my review video this weekend. Obviously, when we get these products, guys, I always say, especially if you're someone who's brand new to YouTube, do not take something out of the box, build it, and start filming it. Spend some time with the product. So, of course, I've spent a couple of days playing around with it late in the evenings. And that way I could give an informed opinion about the product. So, hopefully this weekend I'll film the review, and we'll have our first full Legends Gamer Mini review. I know my buddy TechBuzz, make sure you check out his channel. He did do an unboxing, but we really want to dive into the product. So I'm going to have a review video out this weekend for you guys. Michael B, Detroit Love, Nostalgia. Out of the AtGames Legends Gamer products, which one are you more excited for? The Gamer Pro, which is big, or the Gamer Mini for one player? I also want to know your guys' feedback in the chat. Personally, I'm so excited about the Gamer Mini, because you don't always play with 2 players, at least in my house, right? So the 1 player is the perfect size for me. But I want to hear your guys' feedback. Go ahead. Everyone else in the chat, fire away.
Well, let me start. I currently is not a product for me. Not any of them. It's just not. I just don't sit at the couch and play games. It's just not what I do. Yeah, I had the Xbox One. My daughter's took it, and it's been upstairs for months, and I hadn't missed it. It was pretty much just my entertainment center. So I don't sit and play console games. About the what is the Sega Genesis thing? About the what's the one we bought from Japan? Which one was that?
TurboGrafx.
TurboGrafx. I hooked those things up once, and I haven't even looked at those again. It's hard for me to sit still. I'm not a person that sits still long. You know what I mean? So I don't spend a whole lot of time on the couch. So consoles, I'd rather come and stand at one of these arcades if I'm going to play something. So I'm just not the demographics that they're promoting these things to.
Go ahead.
Yeah, see, for me, I like the Gamer Pro, the 2-player. I just like it. But it's funny because a very, very close friend of mine is really heavy into fighting games. And we had him over. This is when I first got the Gamer Pro. And he was looking at it and he was like, oh, this thing would be so much better if it was just for one person. And of course, it took everything in me not to tell him, hey, there's one coming. But I mean, it just really depends on your style. If you're really just somebody who plays by themselves, then yeah, the Gamer Mini makes sense. I like to play some of these classic games with my daughter, though. So I like her to actually get to experience them with me, because if I just try to put her in front of it and play, she's really not interested. But when I actually do that cooperative play, I can really tell that she gets into it more. So for me, the Gamer Pro makes more sense. How about you, Mikey?
Yep.
So, I don't know if you guys remember, a couple of weeks ago, we were talking about the Legends Gamer Pro the first time, and I talked about how I'd like to set it up as a separate arcade cabinet, one of those new, more modern cabinets where you have your TV in the background, and then you put your Gamer Pro on a pedestal and play in front of the TV. The retailer we have in Canada right now, Buy Stuff Store, actually went out and took my idea and have made their own pedestal that they're selling themselves as an add-on with the Gamer Pro. So you got to see this thing. It's a pedestal.
Yeah.
You put your Gamer Pro on it, and then you can stand in front of your TV and play. I'm excited for the Gamer Pro, and for exactly that reason. I get another arcade machine.
Oh man, I love the guys in our live chat. Sometimes if they go off on a wild tangent and their side conversations can be kind of funny. But does that mean we're hosting a bad show? Come on, guys, we're moving through these topics pretty quickly. I think we're making good time. Like we're not harping on anything. We're making good time, and let's keep going. Let's move on to our next topic, guys. This definitely was a week of news for the Arcade1Up brand, and it started with a little vroom vroom. Let's check it out. Beautiful, beautiful. All right, guys, we have about 138 people watching at this moment. Guys, I want your honest feedback in the live chat. Start punching it in, because you know there's a delay. I want to make sure we get it up on screen. Your honest feedback about the Arcade1Up sit-down, seated racing cabinet, as well as the potential for the stand-up cabinet, which they also announced. The stand-up cabinet's next year. The seated cabinet is this year, but it's already sold out. Detroit Love, what are your thoughts on this particular product?
I'm not sure if that's just a render. Oh, okay, no, this is the first time I've seen that. This the actual cabinet, because I've only seen a render previously. I like options. I like that they're making this available as a sit down, and if you don't want to sit down, to have a stand up. Michael B was saying that someone stole his ideal. I wish they would steal my ideal and make all the risers where it's a seat where you can take it off and you can have a seat if you want to. I think that's a cool idea. I'm not a big fan of racing games. I can't recall last time I played a racing game. I think I was too cheap because it was like $1 or $2 to play all the time. So it's like pinball. I hadn't had a whole lot of experience, but if I get to do it, maybe it's something I will fall in love with. But I don't have anything that jumps out. Crazy Taxi, I would love to, if I did have one, to have that. So I'm glad that they're starting this line, and hopefully they'll continue it and offer us more driving options.
What about you, Nostalgia? What are you thinking? Is this going to end up in your basement?
I've got a habit of picking these things up, even when I'm not a huge fan of them. This one I feel a little bit mixed about. I'm excited to see that we've got a driving cab. I don't know that I don't want to say I don't know, but I feel like maybe what they should have done for the sit down versus the stand up is provide two different styles of art, because the sit down cab looked very different than the stand up cabinet. And I feel like maybe what they should have done, since they already themed the bench in that more sit-down style artwork, I almost wish what they had done is taken the side panels and made those kind of consistent and look like the sit-down one did as well. I can't really knock them that hard, because then they're essentially creating two SKUs. But at the same time, I still kind of wish that was the case. If you can go to the steering wheel for a second, I don't know if you can find a close-up on the steering wheel.
Heck yeah, brother. Give me 1 second. I got you. All right. So what about it?
So I'm not a huge fan. I can't really tell what it's being made out of, and I know it looks close to the original, but it still looks a little funky to me. I know that I was joking around in our chat. I sent you a few photos. I don't know if you have them handy.
Oh,
You didn't get them ready? No, that's okay.
I didn't get them ready, but I
Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
yeah.
when I
Go ahead. Keep
when
talking
I was
about it.
So when I was looking at this thing, I was talking to a fan of my channel, a friend of mine as well, and I was going back and forth with her, and she made the comment that these steering wheels kind of look like the McDonald's steering wheel devices that they had in the play places, like those really cheap plastic things that you would spin, and they would do literally nothing other than preoccupy children for like 6 hours. And she wasn't wrong. She ended up sending me a few photos as well of like children's steering wheel toys. And I was like shaking my head about how it actually really does look a lot like that. Obviously, if they decide to go with like a cheap plasticky type of feel to their steering wheel, that's going to be interesting. Interesting will be the word that I choose. I hope that what they do with the real device is give it like a more proper textured feel. I don't know what that entails, whether it's like a textured rubber or something that'll feel more substantial or true to the original, but I just hope it's not like really cheap printed plastic or textured plastic that's just screwed together. I don't think the shifter looks 100% accurate either. I feel like it's been modified a bit too, but yeah, those are things that I'm like, if you're going through all this trouble, just like really, I mean, for your first driving cab, you want to go out with a bang. And this, I don't know how I feel about it.
Guys, here's what happens. You know, sometimes us four YouTubers, we obviously have our own group Facebook chat, and we talk all day long every day. I love talking to these guys, and we're always clowning around. We're always pulling pranks on each other. We got 150 people watching. You guys want to see the kind of crap that happens behind the scenes on Facebook? Here's what happened. So earlier this morning around 9 a.m., Nostalgia sends this to me. He's like, hey, guys, I got an exclusive picture of the OutRun cabinet. I'm like, yeah, what is it? And he sends me this crap. And I'm like, dude, you're never happy. We're never going to make you happy.
It just like that's when I saw the first render, I was like, okay, you can't really tell it's really pixelated. You couldn't really tell. And then when they put out the high res images, I looked at the image and they didn't look like they were a real machine. They still look like some sort of a render. But man, when I saw that steering wheel, I was like, ugh.
And then he sends me this one.
So that's my concern. I just don't want them to put out a product that feels like a children's toy. That's all.
Oh my god, epic. Totally epic, man.
Then we're gonna need Glenn to make a replacement steering wheel and gear shifter for us.
Oh man, that would be hilarious. Detroit Love, Michael B, what do you guys think about the racing cabinet? Sorry.
I mean, I understand they're reusing the Star Wars base, and it just doesn't fit. It looks like an afterthought. You know, I mean, that's my only concern. It doesn't look like a racing cab. You know, I think it should have rear wheels on it or something that just make it look better than what it does. But you know, I think it's something they're going to improve on and make better over time. I think it looked like they rushed it to me, but I think people are going to enjoy it and have fun with it.
What's funny is a couple of weeks ago, I was on this very show, and I was pretty negative, or maybe it was the show me and you did, P-Dubs, where it was just me and you that Sunday night, and I was pretty negative about the OutRun sit-down cab. I said it's not going to fit in my room, but sure enough,
wait, hold on. I'm sorry. Did you say we were nude on Sunday night? Did you say we were nude on Sunday night? Just me and you? You promised.
That's what I heard.
You promised. You promised you wouldn't tell.
Secrets out, boys.
You guys probably were.
You promised you wouldn't tell.
Anyways, I said I didn't want to get it because it wasn't going to match the rest of my cabinets, but all it took was for them to do that announcement. Cool Toy, of course. He must have had advanced knowledge because his video came out at the same time Arcade1Up announced their video, and watching Cool Toy's video and then seeing their announcement stuff, I was hooked. I'm really interested in picking up this cabinet. I want to start racing, and I know a lot of people are disappointed that this wasn't Daytona USA or San Francisco Rush, but I mean, OutRun. It's one of the most iconic racers in arcade history. They've just got that Sega partnership. Everything works. So I am disappointed because it looks like here in Canada we're not going to get the stand-up option. That's what we're being told from our retailers. We will only get sit-down. I hope that changes. I would still prefer stand-up, but if sit-down's the only choice, I'm probably going to end up getting this.
Yeah. Okay.
No. In all honesty, Michael B, I know you like things to look authentic, and I mean, if you're gonna have a racing or a driving cab, don't you want it to look like a damn car? I mean, shouldn't it have wheels on the decal? How difficult is the decals?
That's what I said
on the cabinet. Come on now, give me your honest opinion. Come on, I'm gonna ask for it.
I said that. I want the little Testarossa, the little plastic one on the deluxe sit-down OutRun. That's what I want, but they can't do that.
All right, so we got a funny comment in the chat here. He says, it's welcome to the crap on A1Up Hour. And that is actually incorrect, sir. And if that's the impression we're giving you, I don't know if I should even apologize or not, guys. We're giving you honest feedback. You have 4 hosts, 4 gentlemen with 4 different opinions. And we just have these roundtable discussions every week. And we didn't even get to my opinion yet. If you guys are a member of P-Dub's channel, you got a members behind the scenes look. I'm excited about the OutRun cabinet, and I actually showed my members I pre-ordered it. And between the cabinet that I've pre-ordered for the OutRun cabinet, as well as the pinball machines I've pre-ordered from Arcade1Up, I've now spent over $7,500 on their products in the last 2 years. So I don't want to hear any comments in the chat about us crapping on A1Up, considering I've given them $7,500 of my hard-worked money. Thanks so much.
Well, even still, I mean, you can crap on anybody you want. It's your prerogative to do that. That being said, I mean, the same is true. I know, obviously, Carl, you said this is a pass for you. I'm going to probably pick it up. I'm going to do a review on my channel. If I only have access to the sit-down, that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to be I try to make my reviews fairly unbiased, but I mean, I'm just going to kind of say it how it is. Hopefully they do a good job with it. It doesn't look like we're getting any kind of like force feedback or rumble on that device either. So it's going to be interesting to see what they're putting into it other than just possibly a steering wheel. I'm curious to know how that's going to feel.
Yep.
I'm a fan of the modding community. I like that people make decals available. I think people are gonna make these things look fantastic by putting their own decals on it. And Arcade1Up's gonna learn from it and make adjustments as they've done in the past. So no doubt about it. But like I said, I'm glad that they have one. People have been anticipating and wanting a driving cab for so long, and they're bringing to the market. So you can't complain about that. The modders will make it and change it and give you options to make it yours. So let's do it.
And I'm a fan of the OutRun series as well. I know some people, they're like, I'd rather have Daytona or something. And yeah, I would too. But we're talking about an increase in their technology, potentially their cost to make that happen. So I'm happy to take these 4 games, OutRun, Turbo OutRun, Outrunners, and Power Drift. Yes, the bench does worry me. I did pre-order the bench because it takes up additional floor space, as well as there's not a back to it. And guys, this was a tough decision for me. I was like, should I wait until next year to get the stand-up? Because it probably takes up a space. But then I realized that I thought to myself, and guys, I want your honest opinion. You get up, you turn on your arcade machine. Let's just say you hop over, you turn on Ninja Turtles. How long do you play for? Do you play for an hour? Or do you play for like 10, 15, 20 minutes, and then you jump to the next machine? You know what I mean? I'll be honest. I have a short attention span. At least the way I game.
We know Peter.
Yeah, the way I game, like I jump from machine to machine to machine, and I'm like play a few games, play a few rounds, go to the next machine. You know what I mean? Because I try to like pretend I'm in a real arcade. Like, okay, now I'm gonna play this. Now I'm gonna play this. So honestly, guys, I have a feeling if I'm sitting there for 15, 20 minutes, do a few races, my back might be okay. But I do agree with a lot of folks. Without a back to the bench, I see potential. If you're sitting there for like an hour or so, you're going to be like, you know what I mean?
I disagree with you.
I think it's two things here. I think the design offers a trip hazard. I would have rather had that support on the back and have my feet clear, you know what I mean? To make it look more like a car, you know. So again, I think that's going to improve over time, without a doubt. As people are going to mod this thing like crazy. It's going to be some sweet stuff out there,
Yeah.
and they're going to make adjustments. No doubt about it.
I think the reason why I think you're wrong, P-Dubs, is because of the pedal placement. So in order for you to be able to lean back,
Yes,
that pedal needs to be recessed way more into the machine, and it's not. So what's going to end up happening is you're going to have the pedal down right in front of the kick plate, and you're going to have to lean forward in order to get to that steering wheel. There's not going to be any leaning back. So I don't think that you need to worry about, hurting, getting tired because you can't lean back. I'm worried, or I'm thinking you're going to have to be worried about hurting your back from leaning forward too much.
Hey, Carl, Jeff says you're mad because the seat doesn't swivel. We're still waiting on your swivel stool mod. It's only been 18 months since you first announced it.
We got about 3 more months and they'll be out.
All right, guys. I want your hold on, Michael B. Real quick. While you talk, they can type their answers to this question. Guys, I want your honest feedback. Did Arcade1Up make a mistake by not putting the pedals inside the cabinet and having it as it looks to appear to be snapped onto the exterior of the cabinet? Your knees are definitely going to be bent. They're not going to be straight when you're playing this game. If you have ankle problems, maybe you might have issues with that as well. Michael B., go ahead. What were you going to say?
So I don't know if you guys are big Simpsons fans or not, but do you remember when Homer crashed his cars and he had to go to the the place to pick up the car, and he gets in this little tiny car with his arms on the wheel like that and his knees buckled up, and the guy's like, put it in H. That's what it's going to look like while we're playing this cabinet.
Well, it's interesting because I'd imagine that in order to, and I was the one who said, in this, we need to recess this. I said that right from the beginning, but in order for them to do that, they have to lose that kick plate altogether. Like that kick plate that's on there has to be gone. You need to be able to get right inside the machine. And I wonder how, maybe this is the best way that maybe they thought of that. Maybe they tried to think of a solution that provided that, but they weren't able to do it in a way that really made the cabinet look right.
No, they're just reusing what they have. There's nothing there at that base of the cabinet. That thing could be hollow. You can still have the support on the sides to make that whole, because that panel holds the whole cabinet, together. For the look, it could have a 1 inch on each end or 2 inch on each end, and still allow that to be recessed into that open cavity at the bottom. Again, I think they're going to make adjustments over time because they're just getting it out, and I'm glad they're getting it out, and people are going to enjoy it. But they're going to improve upon it without a doubt. And it needs some TLC for sure.
Well, I got some questions. Would you guys pay more for it to have like a rear piece for your back to rest on?
Yes,
because obviously, if you're going to be adding material to it, it's going to increase the cost. It's going to increase the engineering. So
yeah, if they were making it more of a cockpit kind of style, maybe with a little bit of an armrest, maybe, I don't know, I'd be willing to pay a little bit more, provided we can keep this thing under $700 because I'm cheap. Come on,
they can make that they can make that an option that's available on their site. If you want to upgrade it seat, because that's a totally separate piece. That's not attached to it at all.
Yeah, but then they would have to deal with the whole shipping situation themselves, and that can be pretty expensive.
Well, again, if you want it, you buy it. It's an option. Everybody's not going to want it. The people that have it, the money is not going to be an issue, because by the time you mod it and do all these other things, you're going to spend the money. So the people that mod it doesn't care about the money. You know what I mean? They want it to look the way they want it. They want it to feel. They want it to be something they want to use and be comfortable. So it's an option that they can make available.
So in the audience, if you guys want Carl to buy one of these and turn it into a proper racing cabinet, please type in yes.
There you go.
So that way we can see. And then if there's enough of them, Carl, sorry, the community has voted. You got to buy one now.
Hey, I don't have a problem with that.
All right, guys, we got to move on.
I have tons of room. I don't have the room restraints you guys have.
Before we move on, I did want to mention one thing. Is there a reason that they didn't recess the pedal so much? Because a lot of people still have kids that play these off the riser, and if it is totally recessed, the kids wouldn't be able to use it as a stand-up cab.
That's a good point.
Don't come at me with your Canadian logic. All right, let's move on to the next. Let's move on to the next topic, guys. We're going to come back to Arcade1Up in a second. This is actually something we really maybe only need to spend about 3 minutes on, guys. The Dragon's Lair X Replicade. This thing, everyone's been receiving them. many reviews are dropping all over the internet, and the general population is saying that this is the best one that New Wave Toys has made so far. I've watched a few of the review videos, and guys, I actually feel bad I did not participate in the Kickstarter. I feel bad I don't have one of these. I want to buy one, but considering how much money I've spent on other products, I don't know if I could justify another $120. Guys, I want your thoughts in the chat. What do you guys think about what you've seen about Dragon's Lair? Type it in, and while you guys are typing that in, let's go down the horn here, fellas. What are you guys thinking after everything you've seen this week about this product?
Man, you know, you just need to make 3 videos this week and you can buy that one. So that's not even an issue.
Shut up. I don't get that many views. I'm not Cool Toy. Keep going.
Again, I used to like Dragon's Lair, but it was a difficult game. It wasn't worth me putting my money in. I already have that on II Arcade when that comes. But I like those little cabinets. You know, I got the Pac-Man there. They're cool. I don't play those. Those are more like a decorative thing to me. But they're playable. I like that they're playable. I'll take it into the job all the time, and people love to come up and play it. So I like these things. I like them to keep making these and making them available. They're pretty cool.
Go ahead, Nostalgia. What are you thinking about this one?
I love these. I love these.
Yeah.
I have mine coming probably Monday or Tuesday. I don't know exactly when it is because I'm in Canada. It takes longer for everything to come to us. But this I think, based off of what I've seen and the way that it works, this is probably going to be their best one they've made yet. And the really cool thing that I like about this, the thing that I think really needs to be accentuated, is the fact that they are running the original arcade ROM on this. It's running through a Daphne emulator. It is going to give you the real gameplay experience that you would have had in the arcade, rather than, you know, a console port of it or any of the new generation PC Steam port of it. You're actually going to have the original game files here. So I'm super excited for this.
Yep. It's getting great reviews, guys. Michael B., go ahead.
I don't have a lot more to add than that. Like, I mean, the attention to detail, everything looks fantastic. And like you, P-Dubs, I'm kind of kicking myself right now for not ordering this.
I am, because I honestly thought, like, oh man, it's not gonna look good. It's not gonna sound good. And just hearing, you know, like the video, like the commercial trailer crawl, just hearing that, like in all these review videos where you hear that in a dungeon far away, blah blah blah. You know what I mean? You're like, oh, it just fires you up, and you're like, I want to get in there. I want to be all up in you. You know? So I'm kicking myself, guys. I don't have one of these. But then again, we're getting the iArcade Dragon's Lair cabinet, so I'm kind of excited about that one.
And on that point of both what you both guys said, the II Arcade is going to be a different version than the original port. So if that's something that's important to you, to me it's not going to make a difference, because I'm not going to remember how the arcade port worked at all, right? Because I'll be playing this more than I ever play the other version. But if it's important to you, you have an option for it. If not, the II Arcade would do.
Shut up, Jeff. I love this guy. You got to watch what you say. He'll hold your feet to the fire on it.
You need to put that up on screen for everyone to enjoy.
I did, but I took it down. You only had like 2 seconds to screenshot it. All right, we're making great time, guys. We're at an hour, and we only have a couple of topics left. Guys, you've been an awesome audience. We have well over 150 people always watching our show every week. We greatly, greatly appreciate it. Thanks so much. All right, let's keep going, guys. Oh, by the way, whatever channel you're on, because remember, we broadcast on all 4 channels. Do me a favor right now. Go click that thumbs up button. That helps the show. Please hit the thumbs up button if you're enjoying the broadcast. We'd greatly appreciate it. All right, let's keep going. Let's keep going. So here's the question, guys. Do you guys want to get a copyright claim and not monetize these videos, or you guys want to? Are you guys all about the money? What do you guys think?
I fight every one of them and I always win, so it don't matter.
Because I got something that we need to talk about, but I got to play something, and when I play it, we're immediately going to get a copyright claim. Not a copyright strike, just a claim.
And don't do it.
It just means we're not going to get $5 on this video. What do you guys think?
Just do it. Roll the dice. Let's give the people what they want. Play the video.
All right, guys. An important event happened today in arcade history. Let's take a look. That's right, guys. Star Wars Pinball pre-orders went live today. Oh, yeah. May the force be with all of you. What are you guys thinking about the Star Wars Pinball? Who got your orders in, guys? You might want to get them in before they get sold out. Detroit Love, what are your thoughts, guys, in the chat? Let us know what you think of the Star Wars Pinball machine.
Well, before I go there, I watched Spaceballs the other day, and that movie is hilarious. If you guys hadn't ever seen that, go check it out. You know, I got me a pinball machine, so I'm not the eager beaver to jump on the pre-sales. So I'm gonna leave those for the people because it's gonna be a limited supply. I'll get to what I'm gonna do later, but I like it. I wouldn't get the Star Wars anyway. I would get the Attack from Mars one. So I'll leave them on the shelves for people to grab.
You want me to go? I'll go.
Nostalgia.
Sorry, I was busy checking my email. I think we just got a cease and desist for playing that song.
Was it from Jamie?
I don't know who it was from. It might have been from Jamie. Jamie's been sending all of us cease and desists. But no, this is one I'm gonna grab. I'm gonna grab all three of these pinball machines. In Canada, I think we can order off their website, but it's going to be like $350 to ship it or something like that. After customs and duties. So I'll just wait for our local retailers to get it, hopefully soon. And that's my plan. But I'm going to get all three. I'll get Star Wars, Marvel, Attack from Mars.
So, Nostalgia, get ready on November 9th, because that's when you'll be able to put your pre-order in with the brick.
Sweet. My wife's going to hate me. It's going to be wonderful. Is it all of them? Am I just going to be dropping $2,000? Oh,
all
wonderful. It'll be so much fun to try to explain that one.
$2,000. It's going to be more than that, brother.
Well, how much are these? What are they selling here? $750 a piece?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'd have to go back and look. It's either $6.99 or $7.49.
That'll be, I'm not sure what to tell my wife on that
Plus one. PST and GST and LMLP.
Yeah. Well, I just bought a PS5 and the Xbox Series X and the Xbox Series S and a whole bunch of other stuff. Miss Pac-Man's coming next week, and I've got Big Buck Hunter that I pre-ordered whenever I was able to, and that's not coming till March. So I'm going to have like $10,000 worth of stuff outstanding that I haven't received yet. And that'll be an interesting conversation, I'm sure.
So I'm a huge Star Wars fan. I really like Marvel too, but those cabs don't do anything for me. I have enough money to buy one cab, and I'm getting Attack from Mars. That's the one I want. The only problem we have here in Canada is we're only getting 50 of them, and I would be the first person online to order from the brick, but we still don't have a brick here, and we don't have access to order online yet. So I'm hoping there's at least one of those 50 left within a week and a half.
Okay, Mike, I'll tell you what. I happen to know a guy who can get it to you for about $6,000.
Oh, that's awesome.
I just know a guy who lives near a brick that can get it.
Hey, Zero Hero, sell the plasma, you get more money.
Now, guys, the pre-orders have gone live just on GameStop. Now, whether or not this is 100% confirmation, no other pre-orders with other retailers have gone live yet. And it is not for pre-order on the Arcade1Up website directly either. So it's just on GameStop as of today. It's still available. It hasn't sold out in one day like the OutRun cabinet. That's sold out in like 2 days. But then again, there's probably limited quantities for all these products coming out due to the holidays. We've had these discussions before on other shows with backlogs in production and shipping and importing, all this stuff. COVID has really just done its job on ruining our fun this year, that's for sure. Now, in all honesty, after the games list came out, a lot of folks switched and said they'd rather get Attack from Mars to the better game lineup. Folks in the chat, I asked if they pre-ordered, and I didn't see too many people say they pre-ordered the Star Wars pinball machine. I'm a little sad because it's Star Wars. But, you know, it's okay. If you could only get one, you're getting Attack from Mars, but if you're rich like Nostalgia, you're going to get all three. That apparently you see.
No, rich is not the word I would use. Stupid is the word I would use. If you're stupid like Nostalgia.
Yep. Now here, let me take this off because I gotta tell you guys a funny story here. Hang on a minute.
Is it going to get us demonetized?
No. Hang on 1 second. I got to turn my other headset back on. All right, so I put a video out today when the pre-orders, when it was discovered, pre-orders went live. And what worries me is with what Arcade1Up has done with multiple SKUs is, they're like, hey, it's limited quantities, get them now before they're gone. But what if next year we see, think about it, there's over 10 Star Wars games in the Zen library. There's over 10 Marvel games in the Zen library. And a lot of key Marvel games were also left off the Marvel pinball machine. So my speculation thought, and I want to throw this at you guys in the chat. I have no evidence to support this, just theory is we're probably going to see another Marvel pinball machine from Zen Studios and Arcade1Up. And if I had to guess, based upon the missing game, because we're missing like Avengers, aren't we missing Age of Ultron? We're missing the Infinity War and Thanos. We're missing Iron Man, Captain America. It sounds to me like this pinball machine is the Marvel pinball machine, but what if the next pinball machine is more the Avengers pinball machine? Does that make sense? Where all those kind of like tie into the Marvel Cinematic Universe movies, kind of tie in, and they throw those games in that machine with different artwork and stuff. What do you guys think about that speculation? Or am I just off my rocker? And
No.
And they're
I
going to
don't
do the
think
same
so.
thing with Star Wars. There'll be a different Star Wars that has a lot of the games we're missing. You know what I mean? Go ahead.
I think that's entirely within what could be expected. We see Arcade1Up, I don't want to say recycling titles, but they do often re-release titles. So it wouldn't surprise me if they did a second round of some sort of Marvel IP pinball machine that had some of the titles that you're talking about, but probably also recycled some of the other popular ones from the first machine. That being said, I don't know that pinball is going to have kind of the same grasp on the market that the arcade machines do. I think arcade machines are maybe a little bit more relatable in the sense of having more demand, and I can see people buying 10, 15 of these arcade machines to make a home arcade. But I also get the impression that maybe people are going to be limiting their pinball purchases to maybe one or two machines, and that kind of being it. So I don't know that we're going to see a tremendous amount of energy pumped into pinball machines going out like crazy moving forward. I think maybe they'll have 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe at the most. But after that, I can see them kind of easing back and kind of shifting gears and doing different things.
I don't think they're going to come out as frequent as the other cabinets. Obviously, there's a whole bunch of different cabinets that they can do. I think pinball is one of those things that, just like me, I've always been fascinated. I didn't play a lot, but once I played it, I love it. And I play it more than any of my other cabinets. Probably the Golf Golden Tee is the next one that gets the most play. People just don't know. And I think people are going to reserve their purchase until they can see people actually play these things and what they think about it. The reality is Arcade1Up has already learned about things that they should have added to this first cabinet. So it's definitely going to be a Gen 2 cabinet that's going to improve upon what they released because they're going to learn. I think the back glass is eventually going to come out as well. I think that's a very important piece that they left out of this puzzle. And I think they're going to make that available, maybe not on Gen 2, but definitely by Gen 3, they're going to improve upon that.
Yep. I mean, I just look, if you do the math, if you just start like crossing off the games that are included, not included, the games that are not included, they all kind of tie together a bit. You know, you have Doctor Strange, Captain America, Iron Man, Avengers, Age of Ultron, the Avengers game, Infinity War. All those games are not included in this Marvel pinball machine. And it makes me say, if I was going to say I want to make an Avengers pinball machine and a Marvel pinball machine, I would put all those games. Now, the one game that is on here is Thor, right? So, but that doesn't mean, because, there's 19 games or so, doesn't mean a couple can't overlap, right? A couple can't overlap if they're going to keep it to 10 games. But guys, mark my words, if you see an Avengers pinball machine, you heard it from P-Dubs first. Pure speculation, nothing to back it up. All right, guys, let's continue on our quest. So, Star Wars Pinball came out. I'll be honest, although I'm really excited. You guys know I'm a Star Wars nerd. I'm a little worried. Like, I did do the pre-order. I did place the pre-order.
Of course you did.
But it's like, do I really need it? You know what I mean? Because I'm going to try and get the AtGames pinball machine, and I did pre-order the Well-Played pinball machine. I got a Toy Shock in my house. I pre-ordered Marvel pinball, and I got Star Wars coming. Guys, what am I gonna? Where am I gonna put all these damn pinball machines? This is starting to worry me. Go ahead. Any thoughts? Any kind of sort of medical advice or anything you guys can do?
Medical advice?
Yeah, like therapy, counseling, anything like that.
Well, I have some tips on sneaking some of those into the house, so you don't have to sleep in the loft.
Oh, there's not going to be room in the loft to sleep. It's all freaking,
What I would suggest
machines.
is try them all out. Whichever ones you like the best, keep them, and the other ones, get rid of them.
Yeah.
Just get them moving. I'm not. I gotta say, I'm not super convinced on the Well-Played machine.
Yeah.
I'm really not. I keep looking at all the information, and it's just not appealing. It doesn't appeal to me in any way, shape, or form. I just can't see that being a better option than either an Arcade1Up or the AtGames machine.
Yeah, we don't know much about it. Unfortunately, no one's seen it. I mean, we don't know what the quality of it's going to be like. I mean, so it's kind of hard to pull the plug on that when there's so little known about it.
Now, I don't know if you guys follow the Zakaria pinball or digital pinball games. What you call it? They did release another deluxe retro pack. So a lot of the games, the older games, they remake them into something a bit more modern. And they released another pack, a bunch of games today. I haven't had a chance to test it. I saw a video. I can't remember who did a video. Somebody on YouTube did a video showing off the games. And it was really interesting to see these old games that didn't have ramps and things like that, or slingshots or stuff like that back in the day. Literally, it was just like a couple bumpers and bells back in the day. Having that stuff added and modernized and cartoon graphics and sound, it looked interesting. So does anyone out there like a Zakaria pinball, or, let me know. What about you, Detroit Love? Have you played some of their games?
I play, and they're not bad tables. They have the retro, and the one that you pre-ordered has the retro versions. Right. They have the remake versions, which obviously are an improvement on them. And we don't know if those are going to be available, if you can download. I mean, we don't know much about the table, but they do have those different options. I'm a fan of the more modern. The Stern tables are the tables that I play the most, and so they're the only pinball maker that's still making physical tables. So their technology is obviously
not true.
No, there's other ones. There's at least, I can think of at least 4 companies that are doing it
in the U.S. I meant
in the U.S. Yep.
Right.
All
in the U.S. Right. Well, but what I'm saying is their stuff is more modern, obviously, because they're still building tables, where the other ones are just whatever they were from back in the day. But the tables aren't bad. And they give you 27 games, 27 tables on it. But again, I'll tell you, and I've said it before, whatever table that most people get, they're going to want more than what that table offers. And I think a lot of people are going to end up modding their pinball tables to, because once you get a taste of it, you're going to want more. You're going to add, you start seeing what tables are available, and there's a lot of tables available. I think a lot of people are going to mod that first cabinet, or get a different one that they will mod. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, we got some Zakaria fans in the crowd here. Devil Waldo says that. I play Zakaria pinball on Steam. I enjoy playing the games. Like I don't play them, I'll be honest, as frequently as I do Pinball Arcade or Zen Studios games, Pinball FX3. But I do enjoy playing them. Like, it's good, like, when you want to change. Like, you know what? I'm sick and tired of playing this, 20 Star Wars games. I'm going to go play this old-ass game and, just to have some fun. You know what I mean? So it works. It works.
Yeah, I would say, there's, I don't know, Zakaria or Zakaria. I don't know how to actually pronounce it, but those tables are good. Those tables are good.
And
Zachariah.
Yeah, and I say words funny. I'm from Chicago. We talk through our nose. We say words funny. What's funny is a guy.
So does Michael B.
A guy was giving me a hard time because I was pronouncing. Geez, I did a video. Do you guys remember when the Virtua Fighter leak happen for Arcade1Up. People thought there was going to be a Virtua Fighter cabinet. I fell for it, right? I fell for it. It was a ruse on Reddit. It was a BS Reddit ruse. And I made a video like, this looks cool. And that video got a lot of views. Got like, I don't know, 3, 4, 5,000 views, something like that. A lot of people were excited about it. But do you know how many people in there were giving me a hard time because I kept pronouncing Virtua wrong? I was saying Virtual Fighter, you know what I mean? I'm from Chicago. We don't care. We just say words, you know? Words don't control us. You know what I mean? So
you just like add letters to words that don't exist?
Yeah, this is what we do, man. We just add words. Like, for instance, in Chicago, we add an S to a lot of things. If there's anyone in Chicago watching, put it in the live chat. We always go to the Myers or the Walmarts. Or
Detroit, we do the same thing.
Or we're going to go to Jules. Maybe it's a Midwest thing, but we add letters to words. It's a Midwest Chicago thing. We just, you know.
Yeah, so Detroit does the same thing. We add the S's, Fords, you know, Myers.
Right. Illinois, you know what I mean? Like, we add S's and letters and whatever. Okay, we're getting off topic here. We got 130 people still watching. We definitely want to make sure you guys are having a good time. So, where were we? Oh, yeah, well played. Well played. Looks like their products are supposed to be shipping next week, but I'm hearing rumors, guys, behind the scenes, might not be shipping until December. So just a heads up there. Like I said, there's a lot of delays out there. Companies, it's the ports, it's trucking companies, it's delivery companies. And what's funny too is we know that on our Facebook fan pages, everyone's going to be like, where the hell is my arcade machine? And not understand what's going on in the world. Go ahead.
Now, P-Dubs, did you order the tabletop version of their tables as well? The cabinet?
Of the well-played?
Yeah, the well-played tabletop.
No, I ordered the 3/4 scale pinball machine.
Okay.
Out of sheer morbid curiosity. I can't help myself. Okay, guys. Any updates on the AtGames pinball machine? I know we did a show on Sunday, Nostalgia. We did a show together. We showed off some new pictures.
We did.
Any other updates? Have you guys heard anything, seen anything? I have not personally. Nostalgia's got that smirk. He knows more than he's sharing right now.
I maybe. I don't know what you're talking about, though.
Yeah.
I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Well, guys, from what we heard, pre-orders are going to be mid-November. Well, mid-November is like next week, bro. So, you know, if you have money set aside, keep it set aside. Let's see what happens next week. Let's see if pre-orders go live for the AtGames pinball machine. As well as, we got to keep an eye on these FCC filings because this thing does have Wi-Fi. And there's no FCC filing as of today, or at least a finalized report. You never know. The FCC might have this now. But if they want to get this thing shipped out in time for the holidays, it needs to pass that FCC filing. So as you guys know, us content creators, we troll the FCC looking for that inside scoop. So once we see it there, you guys will know that it's one step closer to delivery. So that's pretty much all we got for the AtGames pinball machine, guys. Let's see what happens next week. That's all I can say. And then when it comes to the iArcade brand of products, Jong did a live stream today showing the first truck leaving the warehouse with oodles and oodles of arcade machines stuffed inside, making its way to the port in Korea to head to the United States. So the cabinets are on the way. And hopefully we'll be able to say, cabs are here! The cabs are here! Very, very soon for those who ordered with the iArcade. I'm out of breath. Nostalgia, what's going on in the world of Xbox and PlayStation? We did promise people a little bit of modern console talk before we wrap up the show.
Is my mic on? Yep. Okay. Yeah. So I don't really have a ton of news other than the fact that we did start to see some review units being shipped out to different content creators. So now we've gotten some pretty good looks at the PlayStation 5. And last week we were seeing, like early last week, we were starting to see the Xbox Series X and Series S kind of make it out to those reviewers as well. A couple reviewers I saw were posting on Twitter that they weren't so happy that they didn't get one, but there were lots to go around, and it actually looks like these machines are pretty decent. I'm excited. I've got kind of all of the above coming my way early next week, and I've got some games that are already on their way, and I'm planning to do some live streaming and kind of
nice
spend some time with the community and play some modern gen video games. But yeah, I don't really have too much to talk about. What are you thinking, Mike? What's on your mind there?
I also have both consoles hopefully coming next week, although my Xbox is coming through Amazon and I don't have a good feeling about it, but I should get both next week. So we'll see what happens. I don't know if you can see it, but I just bought a new gaming chair, and I also may start doing some live streaming of the new consoles.
Very cool. Very cool. What about you, Carl? Did you order Xbox or PlayStation, or any thoughts on any of the upcoming games or anything?
Didn't I tell you I don't play console games?
You're not a gamer then.
I did not pre-order either one.
Well, I do have some updates for folks. So, for instance, if you pre-ordered Assassin's Creed Valhalla, those are shipping. I did get my Best Buy notification today that Assassin's Creed Valhalla is shipping. Super excited. If you see me take a little bit of break and you're like, why hasn't P-Dubs dropped a video in the last few days? Guys, I love the Assassin's Creed series. And when I get that disc, that's all I'm going to play until I beat that game. Sorry. I might take a couple days off YouTube, just a heads up there. Also, what else do we have for Xbox? I did get a little bit worried because, as we all know, there's a very large YouTuber. His name is Metal Jesus Rocks. Very large following. I watched his review. Did you guys watch his review for the Xbox?
No.
So he did this wonderful review. He went through everything top to bottom. It was nearly a 20-minute review. But when we get to the end and you're like, okay, here comes the final thought. This is why a lot of folks watch YouTube videos to the end. We want to hear the final thought, the recommendation. He finally, after all that video, he comes back and he says, look, all it does, and keep in mind, I'm paraphrasing. This is not how he said it. I'm just paraphrasing for the sake of time. Look, all it does is load faster than the Xbox One X. Like,
well, that's like, not true, but okay.
Like, yeah, he's like, but honestly, he's like, if you have one, he was like, if you have an Xbox One X, do you need to buy a Series X? Probably not. I was a little bit surprised by his review. It made me worried because I did pre-order it as well. But what I think the problem is, and I want your guys' honest opinion as well as folks in the chat, I think it's because of the games. Like, if this thing was launching with Halo, if this thing was launching with a brand new Fable game, I think folks would be more excited about it. It sounds like people are like, yeah, it's really fast and it's pretty, but, you know, I was surprised. What do you guys think?
Here's the reality. Anytime a new console comes out, most of the games aren't made for that new console yet. The developers hadn't had it long or not. You know, it's going to take 2 to 3 years before they really tap into what the power of what that new console can do. If you're lucky, they have some decent games that'll come out. But the reality is, it's going to take time for the games to truly take advantage of what's changed and what's new on it. That's just true with any console. Go ahead, Michael B. I know you're itching.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly what kind of TV that Metal Jesus has, but I mean, most of the TVs nowadays, unless you have like the newest TV, you've spent thousands and thousands of dollars on your TV, you won't actually see the graphical benefit of these new systems. Like, I mean, the PlayStation 5 can go up to 8K. Who in the heck has an 8K TV already? I don't. So, you know,
eventually.
I think also Metal Jesus, he would have been a lot more favorable in his review if there was some Sierra games on the Xbox Series X. So that's something they should consider in the future. I'll just say that.
I mean, it caught me as a surprise because when we got to the end of the video, he was so positive throughout the entire video. And I follow his channel and I trust his opinion on some products. And I'm like, oh, he's going to say, you know, go buy it. It's a must buy. Go get it. And when we got to the end, it's like he pulled the rug out from under me. And I got worried personally saying, did I just waste all that money on my pre-order? You know what I mean? Because I have a 1X, and I was like, do I really need a Series X at this point? Go ahead.
So it comes down to the conversation about when Project Scorpio, the Xbox One X, came out. I mean, you're not getting new games to play on this thing. It's just the games that you have will play better. It optimizes things. So the question is, what kind of gamer are you? Are you the person that wants optimization? Basically, we don't have any exclusives. There was a funny tweet on Twitter there yesterday where Spawnwave said, I wonder what it would take to get the Xbox Series X to overheat. And someone replied, if they played an exclusive on it.
Oh, jeez, man. That's hilarious.
So there is no exclusives for it right now. You're playing Xbox One X games on your Xbox Series X. So I understand where he's coming from, but maybe there's going to be subtle differences, like the upgrade from the Xbox One to the Xbox One X, that he doesn't pick up on, that other people will see and appreciate more. So that's kind of where we are right now. Until they have exclusive games, we're just going to get what he said: better loading times and more optimized gameplay for the games that exist.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, I tend to agree with that in part. So my thought is, yeah, it depends on the type of gamer you are. I've always been a first gen or new gen launch day guy. So I can't think of any. I've actually never purchased an Xbox or a Microsoft product on launch. They've always been secondhand. So this Xbox is going to be my first Microsoft product I've ever bought on launch. And there was a question if I was going to be reviewing them. I will be reviewing all the devices. That being said, sure, right now it runs those games faster. Sure, there aren't any exclusive for the new Xbox. And maybe you don't want to spend the money and pick one up right now, and that's totally fine. It's not completely unreasonable. In fact, it's very reasonable. In fact, it's probably smarter to park your cash and wait until there's a few more titles out and more availability. And maybe, in the spring of next year, they're going to have a really awesome bundle where you get an awesome game bundled into it rather than just buying the console for regular price. So it's not necessarily a bad idea to wait. But for him to say, there's no benefit other than faster load times, it sounds like he doesn't really understand the technology that's gone into this machine. So I guess my spot, or I guess my perspective, is buy it if you want it. And if you want to wait, then wait. It's really that simple.
Yeah, I mean, Yellow Munchie, he asked the question, are you that gullible? It's not about being gullible. It's about trust, right? I mean, when you watch YouTubers for years, like these guys who've been around for a long time, like Metal Jesus and stuff, who I was watching even before I started my own YouTube channel. Do you know how many games I purchased because someone made a video like top 10 PS1 games you should have tried, but you never did? You know what I mean? Do you know how many of those I would go track down and buy and play because of videos like that from Metal Jesus and stuff? Do you know how many folks comment on my channel today, which actually kind of scares me a little bit now that I've been doing this for a year, and they'll say, P-Dubs, I bought the II Arcade because of you. P-Dubs, I bought the Toy Shock because of you. You know what I mean? It's kind of scary, but flattering at the same time, because that's also, you trust the opinions of folks, when also you should take their opinions, but also make your own informed opinion. You know what I mean? It's a slippery slope that you tread on, right? So just to hear that someone who I thought was going to say, go buy it today, say, yeah, you really don't need to buy it. Basically, I was shocked, and it made me question my purchase. That's all. I thought it was a good conversation, good talking point. Mm-hmm. Thanks, guys, for participating in that conversation.
Jeff Rainwater had put in the comment. He keeps commenting about family-friendly games, and obviously the big elephant in the room is Nintendo when it comes to that. I would say that yes, that's true. But if you look at the PS5, what are we looking at?
I divorced my wife and went totally retro arcade. Sling Spade is my hero. If I was doing a giveaway, you would win something, sir. That was amazing.
That's funny.
Speaking of which, guys, when I hit 5,000 subscribers, we're going to do an amazing giveaway. I can't wait until we hit that mark. Hopefully, we'll do that. Do us a favor, though. Make sure you subscribe to Detroit Love, Michael B. the Game Genie. Subscribe to Nostalgia. Don't forget about him. He needs some help with his channel, Mr. 35,000 subscribers. Jeez, man. Hogging all the viewers, bro. Make sure you guys subscribe to my buddies. Make sure you give us a thumbs up on your way out. Leave us comments. Let us know what you think of the show and all the things that we talked about. And Carl, I'm ready when you are, brother.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. When he hits 5K, you'll probably get the well-played used pinball as a prize. Until next time, guys, we'll see you on the web.
Extra pinball machines. Who wants one?